Fantastic. Okay, can everyone hear me? Daniel,
Yes.
can you hear me? Just give me a thumbs up.
I can hear you,
I
Jeff.
can hear you too. This is fantastic.
How
Harry,
you
I thought
doing?
you were trained already, brother. Jim Slice, I think we're gonna have to start charging you to come to these things. You're trained too.
Yeah, I'm trained.
Thanks for getting that school for us, Dan. You did a great job.
Yes, sir. This is my first time using Zoom for the first time.
All right.
So how
Good.
big
Well,
is my
welcome to
pool
Zoom.
going to be?
Thank you.
Okay, I'm trying to adjust my volume. So we can hear. I don't think it comes in up there.
Hello.
What we're gonna have to do, because my volume doesn't work as well. It's the super high volume, that better. And it doesn't come. I think it maybe when it comes when I unplug the screen. How about that? That's much better. Now let me see if I plug in this, and if it comes on the screen, and they can. All right, can someone say something so I can see how loud it is?
Hey, how is it?
You're fine.
Hey,
All
checking
right.
in.
Thank you very much. All right, I think we're all tested. Let me go to the share. Where's share? Send request. You need to authorize me to share. There's all kinds of tests in Zoom because I don't know if y'all remember. It all reminded me the other day that that a couple years ago when we first started doing Zooms, we would get infiltrated and all kinds of weird things and people drawing things on the screen and all that kind of stuff. So it was very interesting times that I'd kind of forgotten about. But now there is a chat. If you're comfortable with the Zoom, you've used it in the past, there's a chat room. Okay, August meeting. There's a chat room. Ask questions and such. Olga's here on the chat piece and will answer questions if you just have things as we're kind of moving along. But what we're going to do tonight is just go through the very basics of the basics. We did this last Wednesday. Everybody seemed to appreciate it. I think we go maybe on a tangent sometimes and go into too much stuff, but we'll answer the basic questions. We'll go through this PowerPoint. It's only I think we're 9 pages, so we'll go through that pretty simply, and let's go ahead and get started if everybody's ready. So let me see if I can actually start it as a PowerPoint, as opposed to. No, I'll just go it as this, as a slideshow from beginning. All right, but that's here. Okay, how's that on the screen? Is that working? Does it look great? Okay, so everything's good?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
All right, fantastic. All right, here's just the cover page. This is about Greenville GOP reorg. We invited anybody that wanted to in the state. Anybody can join this. We want as many people to learn about it as possible. This is our reorg from 2021. This is your goal. You want to have as many people as possible to come to your reorg. A lot of people sit there and say, "Well, it's hard to recruit people," but guess what? It is. I say it's quite frankly the easiest and best time to recruit people to get involved. I talked to Mike Voden, who's our third vice chair in charge of membership and reorg this morning. He was out door knocking yesterday, and he said he got a ton of reception. People are really excited about it. Obviously, all the stuff with Trump being reelected and all the things coming out of DC. I normally don't like watching stuff out of DC. We're more local, but you know what? This is getting a lot of people active, and I'm seeing that same sort of pressure and kind of confidence to get involved and do things on the local level based on what they're doing on the national level. When I saw Donald Trump on I guess on Saturday night make a comment at the governor's dinner that his only issue with his only issue, but his only issue with Elon Musk is he wishes he would be more aggressive. Like that's fantastic. So try to recruit people. Look at this as an opportunity to get as many people involved as you can. And it's really not just about reorg. It's about growing the numbers, for the June 2026 primary. So that's where I think we're going to be most effective, and we need more people to be able to do that. I think as of tomorrow or as of today, it's 471 days until the primary with folks like Lindsey Graham and everybody else that you may or may not like. So there's a lot of opportunity to do that. We'll do a lot of things the next year and a half or 400 days to organize to do that. So what is the purpose of precinct reorganization? It is to elect precinct officers, county leadership, and delegates and alternates to attend the county convention, state convention, and the national convention. This is a bottom-up organization. It starts at the precinct, goes to the county, goes to the state, and then goes to the RNC, the national level. So, and this happens by law every 2 years. So at the precinct reorg we're doing on Saturday, it's really just to elect your precinct officers.
Yes, I thought I had them all, but I guess I
and delegates / alternates to the county convention. The operative dates everybody needs to know is this Saturday, March 1st, is the precinct reorganization. Saturday, March 8th at 10 a.m., same time as this weekend, will be the precinct reorg makeup meeting. That will be across the street at the church, across the street from the headquarters here. By rule, we have to have it in one location. And then the county convention will be Monday, April 14th. We're going to have that at the Greenville Convention Center. And then finally, we'll do the state convention, led apparently in Columbia or Lexington. It'll be in the central part of the state on Saturday, May 3rd. So let the excitement begin. Now, the description of officers for the precinct, that's what we're going through, and just want to kind of high level talk about it for your precinct. That's what you'll be voting on this weekend, the precinct and the delegates. First is executive committeeman. The executive committeeman votes on behalf of the precinct at the county executive committee meetings. They maintain contact with and report to the precinct members when appropriate, things we do at the county level in the county executive committee needs to be reported back to the presidents and your members that are responsible for that. They must be willing to attend the county executive committee meetings on this says monthly basis. We've been doing them bi-monthly, and I expect we'll do more going forward on a Zoom basis. I'd like to see us. We've talked about it, do more actual business, pass more resolutions, things like that. So we're going to try to make it as convenient as possible for people, but we also want all of our ECs and presidents to get to know each other. We've got some things planned in that respect. So that's what the executive committeeman does. The second position is the precinct president. They set the meetings for the precinct, preside at precinct meetings, arrange for precinct reorganization, and they attend the county executive committee meetings as they would like it. And obviously they're all open, so anybody can do that. But the president will be the person that opens up your meeting on Saturday, preside over the meeting until the people there elect a new temporary president. We'll go through that on the agenda. Next comes the other positions within the precinct organization: secretary, treasurer, vice president. Secretary simply keeps the meeting records and minutes, keeps list of precinct members, maintains contact with and reports to the precinct when appropriate. Treasurer receives disbursements and accounts for funds generated by the precinct. And the first vice president, and there's also a slot for a second vice president. They fill in for the president and on down the line when necessary. Now, those three positions generally don't do much or have much responsibility, or they certainly haven't in the past. But what we would like to see as each of you in your precincts get more active, it's all about growing the precincts, getting active in the precincts. We would like to see these positions do more, but they really haven't done very much in the past, except for maybe the treasurer. The treasurer will gather up the funds, that may be brought to your precinct reorganization meeting. Just to mention the fee structure, as is normal, to be a county delegate, that's $20. We changed the fee for alternates. It is only $10 to be an alternate to go to the county convention. We have some precincts that are filling up all their delegate slots, $20 a piece, but they also have alternates, and they literally want to fill up all those too. We want to do that in our precinct, Timberlake. We got 25 delegates and 25 alternates. And it didn't seem quite fair for all of those alternates to pay the same $20 fee when chances are they would not even get into the convention, and certainly wouldn't be able to get in to vote. But we do want people to come to the convention at the TD Convention Center. We're doing it at that main ballroom. We have capacity for 3,000. So I would love to see a meeting, a convention with 3,000 people at the TD at the Greenville Convention Center. So that's one job the delegate or the treasurer does. But what we also have, and one other fee in there is there's a $15 fee. And all this is out there and we can talk about it more, but there is a $15 fee that our rules require us to collect if you want to run to be a state delegate. And that's just to have your name put into nomination.
I think we've done enough to be state delegates.
So if you got $20 to be a county, come to the county convention, $15 you can put there as a delegate. So now the delegates to the county convention that you will elect in your precinct. Somebody asked me today, how many delegates do we have? If you go to the greenvillegop.com/zones webpage, there's a link that has all of the delegate numbers on there. We also have all the precincts broken down into zones, and we put next to each of your precinct names the number of delegates, so you can pull up the PDF with all of the precincts, all 151 precincts, and the number of delegates, or you can just look at yours. Or when you get to the meeting, on the front of the white packet that you will have, it will say your precinct name and it will say the number of delegates. I cannot tell you how frustrating it was 2 or 4 and 6 years ago, even getting the party to tell us the number of delegates a precinct has. We obviously want everybody to know so you can plan appropriately about how many people you need to invite. We're looking to get 100% participation. That means 100% of your delegates and 100% of your alternates. So our goal in the Timberlake precinct is to bring 50 people. So that's a big number, but it's a whole lot bigger than 4 or 5 that showed up at my first Precinct ReOrg back in 2017. But those delegates will attend the county convention and any subsequent recalled convention, if we may have one, in order to vote for business matters related to the county convention, and ultimately later the district convention. But that's actually state delegates. So now the requirements to be an EC, that's the other big thing that's out there. You do have, based on our GCRP rules, each EC must have voted in at least 2 of the last 3 even year Republican primaries to be eligible to be a precinct EC. 2 of the last 3 even years. Now that's 2020, 2024. I'm sorry, 2020, 2022, and 2024. You have to have voted in a Republican primary. That can be any Republican primary. Now, this is different than the way the state interprets the state 2 of 3 rule, but Greenville has a more lenient rule. We will accept any Republican primary in 2 of those 3 years. So if you voted in the February presidential preference primary, the Republican one, then that will count. If you had not, for whatever reason, missed voting in the June primary. If you voted in the June primary, that counts. So we're looking for June primaries or any Republican, if there's a special election. I can't remember when we had the sheriff races several years ago. A lot of people didn't vote in the June primary, but they voted in the Republican primary for sheriff, and that all counted. So realize that. Now, the key to this, if you want to be EC, go check your voting record on SC Votes. SC Votes, since the state party started this back in 2022, requiring people to have 3 to be in county leadership or to be a state delegate, the SC Votes, or the State Election Commission or local election commission, has been flooded with record requests to get copies of their voting records. Now, at the State Election Commission smartly has wised up and has allowed that to be posted online. So go to scvotes.gov, go to the voter section, click on that. It will ask you for your legal first name and last name. It will ask you for your date of birth. It will ask you for your county, and it will ask you for your last 4 digits of your social security number, and put that information in and hit enter. It will allow you then to get into and see where your precinct is and all that type of information. And then in the top right corner, there's something to get into your personal voter records. Print that out. It will show you the last 6 years or three big 2-year cycles. So that will give you all the information you need to know. If you have any questions, just do that, scan it or print it or save it to PDF, send it to us at team@greenvillegop.com, and we can look at it and verify that you qualify to be an EC if you have any questions about it. So we're happy to look at it. I will tell you, it happens all the time. People will think they qualify and they don't, or they think they don't qualify and they do. So if there's any if you're looking to be an EC of your precinct and you have any question whatsoever, go online, check it. I would recommend checking it. I've had plenty of people tell me, "Oh, we qualify. Oh, I voted in I vote in the primaries all the time." Guess what? They never vote in the primary. So it's just they it's hard. It's amazing, but that's just kind of the way it is. Now, if you happen to be a younger Republican, we have two, I think, from the 2023 reorg. We had one that was 18, one that was 19. Obviously, those folks have not voted in 2 of 3 past Republican primaries. There's an exception to the rule that will allow them to qualify based on the fact that they were not eligible to vote. So we are encouraging young people. We want young people. We want an 18 or 19 or 20 or 21-year-old to be an EC and work hard in their precinct. So realize, don't exclude the young folks if they can do it. Now, this is the agenda. This is the proposed agenda. This is the basic agenda. This is an agenda for your precinct meeting. It's very simple. Don't be intimidated by it. I will walk through it and just talk through the bullet points, but I will promise you it's very simple. This is actually very similar to the agenda that we will have for our county convention. This is just the process you go through. So step 1 of the agenda is registration. You remember from 2 years ago, you walk in the front door. Normally somebody will set up a table. They will have a computer there. They can check your online that which precinct you are listed in. And it all depends on where you're registered to vote on the day of the reorg meeting. So if you've got any changes, we had somebody that had changed their voter registration on Friday, or actually had 2 people in the past week that I talked to. But wherever you're registered, when they check your voter registration information online, the day of the reorg, that's where you can participate in. I would again go back to SC Votes, print out your information, bring your voter registration card. That would save anybody from checking it online. But that's where most people will check at registration. Once everybody is kind of been through the registration and gotten their paperwork and been directed to the right area for their precinct. Some precincts may be meeting alone, so that's not an issue. But like for us, we're meeting at Mitchell Road Elementary School. I think we got, I don't know, 5 or 10, probably 10 precincts meeting there. So they'll have people at registration. They'll give them their information and send them to the area where they need to sit for their precinct. Somebody will call the meeting to order. Now, typically that is the current president. If you're sitting there and you're with one precinct, in some of these bigger joint precinct meetings, it can be whoever y'all kind of decide or whoever kind of takes the reins. I guess I will probably call to order our meeting on Saturday for our group meeting at Mitchell Road Elementary. Then obviously it's just like a normal GOP meeting. Somebody calls, y'all all sign in, and then somebody calls the meeting to order. Yvonne rings the little bell or what, or gavel, call it order, and then we'll have somebody, pick somebody to do the invocation, and to pick somebody to do the Pledge of Allegiance, and then pick somebody to do the Republican Creed. What we will do at this time in a larger meeting, we will go ahead and skip ahead and just describe the precinct officers, because I want everybody, make sure we give the same spiel about what the EC, the president, and those other members are. Same thing I just told y'all is what we will talk about with the precinct officers that really it's just the EC and president that do very much, but you have those other positions to elect in precinct leadership. But we would really like to see the precincts get active and do more things. And then obviously, explain what the delegates do going to county convention, and then we will just simply direct everyone to go to their corners or start having their own meeting. Now, so when you have your own meeting, we will hand it off. If we're doing a large one, we'll hand it off to your current president if your current president is there. If not, it flows down, the EC can do it, or it flows to the first, second vice chair, and so on. But just somebody needs to start your individual meeting off. And then the first thing you're going to do with your individual meeting is you're going to elect temporary officers. So at that point, the old president's job is kind of done in regards to the meeting, and he or she, that current president, will help facilitate the election of temporary officers. That is a temporary president for this precinct meeting. That is a temporary secretary to help with any paperwork and to sign off on the Form 1s and the Form 2, and then your committee on credentials. Now, the committee on credentials is kind of taken care of at the registration process, because you don't want to just start credentialing people there and finding, going through everything. So probably somebody working at registration will be part of your committee on credentials. And then the paperwork that they have, hopefully they've already checked their voter registration and all that information. So you'll be at the committee on credentials, and to kind of say, oh, well, here's the 10 people, and we've all checked their paperwork, and they're all eligible to vote in this meeting. So that will be the temporary officers and the committee on credentials that you're electing. Then you just drop into the election of officers. It's very simple. That's your first job to do. And I guess we talked about election of the temporary officers, membership eligibility certification. That's really just certifying that the 10 of y'all are eligible to vote. And then you go into election of officers. Now, obviously, it's again president, executive committeeman, the 2 vice presidents, the secretary and treasurer. Now, this is the point where we are highly recommending that you have already agreed with your neighbors on your slate. Y'all already come to an agreement to who's going to fit in what position, as opposed to everybody turning around saying, oh, I want this position, or everybody turning around saying, nobody wants this position. So hopefully y'all have had the discussion. These things should not necessarily be competitive, in the sense that, hopefully these are your neighbors and your friends. Hopefully they're all willing to work cooperatively, for the conservative cause, as opposed to, oh, I want this title versus you want this title, that type of stuff. So find the people that are able to do these jobs, or would like to do these jobs, would like to be involved. We've got an EC that has run the last 2 years, and I think she may want to run this year. She hasn't been to one single meeting in the past 4 years. So one of those types. I'm like, why are you running to be EC if you do not even want to come to a meeting? So realize that, and just go through the election of the officer. So you can elect. Somebody needs to, number one, make a motion to vote on the slate. And so number one, set up where you have somebody make a motion that you would like to vote by slate. Have a vote on that motion. If that motion passes, then you get to just vote on the slate, and you're almost already done. So literally these meetings can take 15 minutes, or if you're not prepared when you go in there, and if you have a slate, it can be done in 15 minutes. But if you're not prepared and you got to talk and figure out who wants to do what, it could take you 2 hours. So that's why we highly recommend you come up with your slate. We put out copies of that everywhere. I think you've seen it, a copy of what it looks like. Just go ahead and fill in all those names. So that will be the election of officers. Next, you can do an election of the delegates. Now, if you vote on the slate, you could actually do the same thing with your delegates. And on the slate, we list all the officers, and we list all spaces for all the delegates. That when you make that initial motion, I should have mentioned this earlier, you say we want to vote for all the officers and all the delegates per the slate. Now the slate will obviously have all of your delegates. It doesn't matter what order the delegates are listed, but it will matter what order the alternates are listed. So the number 1 delegate versus the number 25 delegate, they're all the same, but the number 1 alternate is the first person that's called up at the county convention to fill a slot if a delegate's not there. Then they go to number 2, then they go to number 3, then they go to number 4, all the way down the line. So there will be a reason to pay attention to the order that you put your alternates in, but you can vote on all your officers and all your delegates at the same time. If you say you go through that process, and we'd like to explain the very simple process, you vote on the slate, everybody agrees, you're essentially done. The next 2 things could be resolutions. If you have any resolutions, we don't necessarily promote this, but sometimes this is done when people are wanting their like we do some of it from the county level because we want to send up official paperwork to the state, knowing they probably throw it in the circular file and don't do anything. But we can at least say, hey, Greenville passed a resolution, passed it up to the state, and they threw it away, and they don't want to get closed primaries or do things like that. We are a very cooperative party, and if you have resolutions, you have things, you want to bring them up, we want people to do it, and we will help facilitate that. But if you want to do some of that at the precinct, it'll come up to the county, it'll be reviewed and come up to the county convention when and if appropriate. Our precinct, we're going to do, I think we have listed 2 or 3 that we're just for to check the box. We are going to do it in our precinct so we can, if necessary or if appropriate, we can vote on those at the county level. So there'll be very simple things. I haven't even talked to Greg Peck about it, but I'll let him know what we're doing. I think it's maybe a censure of Lindsey Graham, maybe a censure of those two other people that we want to censure for raising taxes at the Greenville County level. We still got Dan Tripp and Joey Russo, and maybe something else. But if you've got any kind of business that you would like to do, let us know, and we will help you facilitate it either in your precinct, our precinct, or just we can do it at a county meeting later on. If there's any other special business announcements, normally there's nothing, then you can adjourn. So in reality, you ought to be shooting for a meeting that's 15 minutes. I mean, what we're doing with our precinct is we're inviting people to come at 9:30 for coffee and donuts. We can all talk. We can all confirm that everybody's happy with the slate that we've kind of come up with. And then we can go into our meeting and be one and done. So it is on a Saturday. We're trying to make it as convenient as possible for everyone. We're also trying to empower the precincts because this is a bottom-up organization. We're not like some other Rhino counties. They're telling people where they have to have the meeting. They're telling people when it is, and they're making it as convenient for their people and as difficult for our people as all. So we're just having all 151 precincts at one time and let the precinct officials pick that. So that's your agenda. Here are the 2 forms, and I'll stop so I can get a breath in. And I see Jim Slice has raised his hand and he has a question.
Real quick. So on SC votes, I just want to make sure that I understand this. It lists the different types of voting. So at poll, absentee ballot, early voting, all that kind of thing. But it also lists Republican on some of them. Those are the Republican primaries that we're interested in, right?
That is correct. And it should be the June primaries, or it should be like the presidential preference primary. It should say Republican there. That's a key. Some of the old stuff didn't say it was Republican or Democrat. And we're kind of like, oh, you voted in June, but I have no earthly idea if you voted Republican or Democrat.
Right.
But yes, that's what we're looking for.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So next are the 2 forms that you'll have there. It's Form 1 and Form 2. Form 2 is the blue form. Form 1 is the white form. The white Form 1 is in triplicate. They are given to us by the state party, and they're all numbered. Ours were pre-printed with Greenville on it, and they're all numbered. You can see that number. I think it was 1401, which is on the one that we scanned. The state party gave us 2,000 of these. We have 2,332 delegates. So everybody, and we had one person contact us today, that you will be a few short in your package. So what we're doing is, you know, so say my precinct is 25 delegates. We probably got 22 of these. What do I do about the other 3 delegates? And what do I do about the other 25? We've asked because we've asked the state party, and they won't take us making a copy of this. They're going to send us a PDF that we can share, that if you have extra people, just have them fill out the information and then bring it back with your packet to the headquarters afterwards. And what we will do is we will coordinate with the state party to either send us more Form 1s and take care of that, or alternatively, if you know, if we don't sign up 2,000 delegates, we'll have some people will bring back the extras that they have. So it's kind of hard to determine exactly where. And since we do them all at the same time, you know, one precinct may have more than they need, one has less, and then we'll just transcribe and or staple that piece of paper. But expect an email that will have the Form 1 that you can use as an extra if you didn't get enough in your packet. So if that question comes up, but this is in triplicate. One copy will be for the precinct, one copy is for the county, and one copy is for the state. So press hard. Yeah, keep them all together. Don't take anything apart. We'll talk about the packet delivery afterwards, but just, you know, fill out all that information, check the boxes. It's a pretty simple form. I know there's always sometimes questions, but I think we've emailed out the form, and I think the form is in the reorg packet. And so just walk through that. This should be very simple, just precinct name, voter registration. Sometimes that's all filled out at registration. You know, when you come in at the meeting, then they'll say, oh, you're from X Timberlake precinct, write down your voter number and initial or whatnot, and then hand it to you. So that's part of your paperwork. That'll show that you've already been checked by someone. You fill out the rest of it. You will check, I attended my initial precinct meeting in person, because that's what you were doing. These other 2 don't make a difference to you. So just check the first. If you would like to run to be a state delegate, check that box. That is, you know, remember, that's the $15 fee. You write down how you want your name listed on the ballot, because at the county convention, we will have a ballot that will have everybody's name that's paid the $15 and would like to be voted on. So my legal name is Ronald Jefferson Davis Jr. I want my name listed as Jeff Davis. So if it showed up as Ronald Davis, I don't think I'd get any votes. So I would pull my name that way. So however you want it written on the ballot, that's how you write it, sign it, and then you will pass this in at the end of the meeting. You know, were you elected as a delegate to the county convention? Were you elected as an alternate? Or were you elected to one of the leadership positions? I'll just point out, you know, for the record, because, you know, we've been pointing this out for years. The establishment always makes the committeeman look like the lowest position. It is literally the last one to check here. It's literally the last one listed on the Form 2, when that is the one person that actually votes and has some influence on what goes on at the county level. So remember, we treat the executive committeeman as a person who votes as the most important position. The precinct president, you know, you're running the precinct, so I do see the value and why that's a very important position too. It's really the committeeman that has the vote. I like to, you know, remember the old days and point out to everybody that the committeeman was always listed last. Now, who will sign this? This will be signed by you signed it above. And you also will, the precinct president, or I'm sorry, secretary and the precinct president will sign as well. Now, there's always the great discussion. Is it the current secretary and president, or is it the new secretary and president? My advice is everybody just sign it, both, because what has happened is the state party tells us that the new people do not take control until the county convention. That is the rule. That's the way it is. But so why would they at the same time, they tell us the new people are supposed to sign as precinct president and secretary. Makes no sense to me from a logical perspective, but let's just all be safe. Everybody signs it. So, you know, any more witnesses the way I've signed it, it's all fine. But realize, I know this seems complicated. we were talking about it here at the headquarters before we got on the Zoom. Most of this stuff is very simple. Yeah, I think people will make mistakes. We will help you clean up your paperwork and afterwards, and all that type of stuff. We're not looking to keep people out and say, oh, you didn't check this box, so you can't be a delegate, or you didn't check this box, so you can't be a county convention person, because that's what the establishment did. If we were trying to do it, they would say, oh, Jeff, you didn't check the box, so you can't be a delegate to the county convention. But we're not that way. We want to grow the party and make it as big as possible. So I'll go back real quick to the proposed agenda. Once y'all get through the votes and you adjourn, after you adjourn, that's when you will all sit around, or at least the secretary and president, old and new, and the EC will make sure all this paperwork is completed. So that's what we did at our reorg meeting last year. We voted on a slate. We passed the slate. Then there were a few establishment folks that weren't part of our slate. They fought over which order of the alternates that they were going to be. And then once we finalized all that, we went through, our secretary and president went through and looked at the paperwork, verified everything, signed it, and then we all went through and verified and completed out the Form 2. So think about it, it's very logical. Everyone fills out a Form 1, and then each of the 151 precincts will fill out a Form 2. So that Form 2 is what allows us to summarize all of the Form 1. So if I filled out my Form 1 and checked the box and it was signed off that I was elected president, then my name would be put up here on the Form 2. That really just makes it's almost a double check, because what are you going to do if you got two forms that are checked president? Which one was elected? We don't know. So really, you will go by the Form. The Form 2. So whoever you write there, that's who's going to be in those positions. If there's any issues that come up, we can dicker about that later. But prevailing evidence will be whoever is written on the Form 2, as opposed to two Form 1s that both had president checked. Now the delegates and alternates, you can list them here as well. If you have a slate, you can attach it, but I would recommend just writing all the names. But remember, again, be careful to write the alternates in the order. If you run out of space, write it on the back, not a problem. That form is then signed by the secretary and the president, and that form will also be signed by Vaughn as the county chairman. So she's kind of signing off. Once all this paperwork has been reviewed, she will sign off as these are the people that were elected for these positions. So that will be kind of the permanent record and verifying everything. So that's the paperwork.
Okay.
A couple questions that have come up.
Yeah, everybody that comes signs one of these, fills out the Form 1.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Everybody does a Form 1. So even if you just came, you just showed up to vote for your friend, and you don't want to be a delegate or an alternate, and you don't want to be a state, have your name put in for the state, you just want to be one and done, you still fill out a Form 1. So that's how we will know that you attended and how you voted. So what we had 2 years ago is we had some people that came, voted, and then wanted to take their Form 1s with them. Well, I mean, you don't really get to do that. You have to turn all that stuff in. So yeah, yes, sir. It's that everyone fills out the Form 1. So that's why we're going to have this one pager that is just a scan. And Yvonne's been dealing with the state party on that since last Thursday, and because they didn't want us scanning it and writing the extra form, but we'll have those extras. So if you have extra people, go ahead and sign that up. But I look at it really, Richard, as this is our membership form. I mean, I know we have a separate membership form, but these are the members of your precinct. These are the people that came to the precinct reorganization, and then we'll have more Form 1s that they can fill out if they come to the makeup, or if they want to sign up after the makeup. But that's really your membership form as a member of the of your precinct. So questions have been, what do we do afterwards? Obviously, we need somebody from your precinct, typically the EC or the president, typically the newly elected. But if there's any dickering of, oh, I don't really know. I mean, let me say one thing. first take pictures of everything. We recommend always taking pictures of your own personal Form 1 or the precinct Form 2. I don't think that's an issue here in Greenville, but there has been, and we sent out an email about this in the past. Have been issues where it's competitive and dickering that, oh, the form changed or the form got lost. So what we did in our precinct in Timberlake 2 years ago, after we got done, everything was finalized. We laid out all the Form 1s, and I sat there and I took picture after picture after picture and let anybody take a picture. So these meetings are open. We don't allow, I mean, you should allow people to take pictures of anything they want to do. If they want to sit there and live stream it, let them live stream it. We don't really care. We want what Trump calls, or I think he's been calling it this, but I've been using the term radical transparency. We want everybody to see how this operates. We don't want anybody ever accusing us of doing anything improper. They will accuse us anyhow, but so at least if we're trying to practice radical transparency and show everybody everything, then that's great. So we want everybody to see and learn as much as possible so they're as comfortable as possible. So next year, in 2 years, they can do it and they can grow and grow and grow. And that's what we're trying to emphasize, so more people that understand it. This year has been so much better than even last year, and certainly better than 2 years ago, because so many more people know how the process works, and we don't have to retrain them. I know they come and listen and want to forget about some of these types of things, but it comes a whole lot quicker when you've done it once or twice before. The establishment, or the old guard, as I like to call them, those guys have been doing this. They know exactly what to do. They know how to do it. They know what the rules are, and they go through the process, and they sometimes kick our butt in that respect. But guess what? Now the MAGA America First people, a lot more people know how it operates, and there's no problem. So that's why this reorg has been such a dream in that respect, and we're just focusing on growing. So hopefully, get somebody to put together the packets, put them back into the white envelope, and then have somebody bring it up to headquarters. Hopefully you're done by 11 noon at the latest. Somebody will be up here at headquarters. Vaughn's precinct has only got her South Side precinct, and then I think Walt's Greenville 16. So my guess is those guys are going to be done in about 15 minutes, and Yvonne's going to come up here right afterwards and hopefully be up here at the headquarters by 11:30 or so. But whenever you get done, bring it up, bring it to us on Saturday, because there is going to be some data entry that we have to do and get to the state party and get them. There's a big Excel spreadsheet, and Joe Jones is working on that, and we'll coordinate keying in the data, all these names, all these phone numbers, all these, what positions, it all has to be put into one massive spreadsheet called a P1 list and sent to the state party. So that's what there's a lot of people that are going to be working on that. If you would like to volunteer to come up here, get onto the Google sheet, or however Joe Jones is doing it, and then enter your data. That's great. Get to know who your precinct members are and input this data. So, we're going to have 1,000 to 1,500 to, if we're lucky, 2,000 Form 1s to put into a spreadsheet. So, there's plenty of help and assistance we could use there. The money issue that has come up, there has been, and I've seen in the past from, I don't know, 10 years ago, I think I saw it from somewhere, when we collected some old forms. They used to have what's called a Form 3, which was actually a receipt. So for paying the $20 or the $15, simply write on your Form 1 what payment was received. So if the Form 1, if you paid $20 at your Precinct ReOrg, and then $15, whether you paid it in cash or you paid it in a check, just write on there $20 or $35 paid, initial it, and then obviously the secretary and the president, the treasurer will, for the precinct, will sign off on that. Put that money in the manila, in the white envelope, bring that up to headquarters, and then Mary Wheeler, who was here a little while ago, she's going to have one fun time reconciling it all. Now, what we're doing this year is we're allowing you to pay that online. It was always a pain to remember to bring $20 or $35 and have change. It's always a pain to do that, but you can pay it online. You can prepay it We got people, paying it all day today, and just click on that and pay the fees or whatever, however you want to do it online. It's easier. And if you've prepaid, just write on the form, oh, already paid, or that type of stuff. We take your word for it. Be nice if you brought proof, but don't worry about it. And if you paid and then we find out you write prepaid and we find out you haven't paid, then we'll give you a call and go forward from there. Give us one. A list. Oh, okay. Mary did say tonight before I got here that she is going to give us a list of everybody that is paid. So we will I guess distribute that out by precinct. I will get it to you, but we'll figure out a way to get it to you. But take people's word for it. Don't sit there and have a heated discussion of, oh, well, you're not on the list, or I don't have the list, and go ahead and you got to pay again. We trust our people, and we're going to make that as easy as possible for everyone. So just we can reconcile all that stuff information later. If you think you paid and you write on there that you prepaid and it's not on the list Mary's going to provide, we're not going to kick you out because, well, in fact you had not paid. So we will just say, hey, guess what, you wrote prepaid, but in checking our records you haven't, and then you can go ahead and pay. The other thing that and realize too, you could be sitting in the Precinct ReOrg meeting and pay online then. It's okay. Instead, if I show up at my meeting and say, oh, well, I don't have any cash and I didn't bring my checkbook, you can go online, and I think we put a QR code in each of the packets where you can just, use that QR code. Well, it's not in the packet. Okay. It's in the manual. So in the manual, it's there, but it's very easy. Go to greenvillegop.com/zones, and the link to pay is there. So everything we're putting is on greenvillegop.com/zones. Go in there, click the link. That'll take you to what's called a company called Anadot, which is a company that we use to do all this type of stuff. And it's a lot of politicians use it for fundraising and for all that they do. And you can pay for it right there online and hold up your phone and say, hey, I paid. And even if you exit out of it, it will send you an email and you can show that. We get a copy of the email too, and we get the online record. So let's make it easy. Let's not make this difficult. Let's make this a fun, enjoyable time. These are, again, your neighbors and your friends, and hopefully every last one of them is MAGA America First, and none of the Nikki Haley supporters show up, but we'll see. Greg Peck, I think you had a question or comment. I didn't mean to skip you. Greg, you got any?
I got a question, Jeff.
Okay, go ahead, Dave.
What on that Form 1, they got the white paper and the pink paper and the yellow paper stuck to it. What those copies goes to?
Well, you're going to send all of them back here in case there's additional notes or anything we need to write on it when they get checked and reconciled here at the county level. We recommend taking a picture so you can have a copy if you're concerned about what may happen to it when it comes back to us. Go ahead and take a picture of all your Form 1s just so you're comfortable with that. But send it all back to us. And I can't remember where the yellow and the pink, I think, goes to the. Yeah, I don't know exactly what color goes to whom, but one will go to the precinct, one will go to the county, and one goes to the state. So which colors, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have.
Jeff,
And then another question. Now, the blue form with the officers, do the president sign? I knew president signed it, and secretary, and then the chair, which is Ms. Yvonne. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. It is.
okay, Jeff,
Yeah, and again, Daniel, we recommend both the new secretary, the new president, and the old ones sign it if they're all there. So just let everybody know. And take a picture of that too. So just for your record, so you feel confident that everything's in place.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Jeff, everyone that's a delegate going to the county convention pays $20.
Yes, sir. And yes, they pay $20 is the cost to come to the convention. That's the same fee they've been charging forever, as far as I know. There is a cost to the county convention. I'll tell you the convention center is not cheap, and especially since we have to have a facility that is that large. They've been kind to us in helping discount the rate, and we've got some other things we're talking about. But yeah, that's really to kind of cover that cost of the convention because there's expenses to that. Um, but let me clarify another thing, and it's on there. If you are a member or a paid member of the Greenville GOP, your delegate fee is included. Now, the membership cost for an individual is $25. A membership cost for a couple is $40. So a lot of people are just signing up as members of the Greenville GOP because it's essentially the same price. That will cover their county convention fees. And if you happen to be one of the sustaining donors, which are the gold,
Where did I raise my hand at?
yeah, the gold, platinum. Oh no, what do we have? Silver, gold. And so what we have is the silver, gold, and the chairman circle. So that's $240 a year, $20 a month, 480 or $40 a month, or 860. I'm sorry, 960, which is $80 a month. If you're a member of one of those, you
That's
two convention fees and two precinct or state convention nomination fees are included. So it's silly to have somebody paying us $80 a month and then say, "Oh, I need you to pay $20 and $15." So it'll cover for two of you. So I highly recommend go ahead and sign up to be and this is we're going to just a calendar year basis. Sign up to be a member of the Greenville GOP, pay your $25 as an individual, $40 and as a couple, and then your precinct reorg fees are covered. So remember that as well. And when they write the Form 1, because they prepaid or already a member couple, or if you're gold or chairman circle, that type of stuff, just write that on there. So, yes.
now you,
Okay, let me say this again. So Olga's reading me a question because I can't see the questions. Okay. So all right, so let me go through what those three boxes are. So all we care about on Saturday is the first box because that's only the people that showed up in person. So if they showed up in person, you check the first box. I attended my initial precinct meeting in person. If you want to be a state delegate, you check that and you move forward. Now the second box will be for the makeup meeting. The makeup meeting again is March 8th, Saturday a week at 10 a.m. If you come to that, you will check that box. And then if you want to be a state delegate, you check the I want to be a state delegate or put my name in the nomination. Now, what the state party has told us to prevent everybody, and I'm trying to get it in writing, but at least this is what we're going to do here in Greenville. We are certainly, to be fair to everybody, you can only sign up to be a county delegate first at your reorg meeting and then at the reorg makeup. So that's the first two boxes. Nobody is signing up in between the reorg meeting and the reorg makeup. Remember, that was the problem in 2021 when Nate Lloyd and his employer, Adam Morgan, signed up and harvested a bazillion ballots, 620 of them, I think, in between the reorg meeting and the makeup meeting. And a lot of you showed up at your reorg makeup meeting with additional people to be delegates to the county convention and found out all the slots were filled. That was improper and that was cheating and fraudulent, and we have the report on that. So we're going to let you sign up at the reorg meeting. Nobody signs up in between, but you can bring more people to the makeup meeting and fill up any remaining delegate or alternate slots that you have. But after that, what happens after March 8th? So after March 8th, say if I'm in my precinct, we've got 25 delegates. I am a complete failure and there's only 5 of us at the reorg meeting, and I can only bring 5 more people to the makeup meeting. So we got 10, and I got 15 more delegate slots and 25 more alternate slots. I can then tell my neighbors, come up to the Greenville GOP and sign up using box 3. Box 3 is I did not attend my initial precinct meeting or my makeup meeting. Okay. So after the reorg makeup, we will have hours, and I don't know how we'll structure it, but we'll probably just say anybody can come up and check the 3rd box and sign up. We want as many people involved as possible. So go ahead and fill up all those alternates or delegates and remaining alternate slots after that. So from March 9th until the county convention, maybe there's a cutoff deadline before the county convention. Well, I don't know the exact rules. And sometimes, I've seen them sign it up even before. But we're going to comply with whatever the rules allow us to do. And the state party has said this. The state party said only sign up at the meeting, nobody in between meeting, a reorg meeting and the makeup, and then it's Katie bar the door. Sign up anybody you want afterwards. So we'll do that, and we want to make this as big as possible. We really want to see, this is crazy, but 3,000 people at the convention center and make it the biggest, kind of MAGA GOP party in the state. Realize our county convention is going to be bigger than the state convention. We got 2,332 delegates. The county convention or the state convention only has 943. So we will have a bigger convention than the state. We're talking to people about being sponsors of the convention. Vendors can come to the convention. I talked to one guy that will be a vendor at the convention today. Gave me the big thumbs up about it. And, we'll do some other things like that. So we're good. Mr. Slice.
Hey, real quick question. So let's say I have a new person who comes to the reorg and they don't want to do it. They don't want to go to any of the other conventions, but then they think about this and they change their mind along about Wednesday of next week. Can they come to the makeup and reapply to be a convention delegate?
Yes, sir, they can. And we won't let them sign up in between because that's kind of not, I hate to say not fair, but they just come to the makeup meeting and they can do it then, or they can come after the makeup meeting to up to headquarters and we can add them on. So, anybody and everybody can have their name put into nomination for the state convention. So we can continue to accept those after the makeup meeting. If you were at the original meeting and said you didn't want to come to the county convention, then come to the makeup. We don't want to allow you to slip in between. We don't want anybody signing up for the county convention in between reorg and makeup. But come to the makeup meeting and sign up there. The way we're going to handle it at the makeup meeting, and got to confirm this with all the rules, but if for example you have 10 extra convention slots or county delegate slots and 15 people show up, but they're showing up and they're signing up and then they're leaving, and it before is on a list, and it's like, well, is it first come first serve? Well, that's really not fair, right? What if I'm first person in the line versus somebody in the last of the line, but we both got there at 10 a.m. and I just happen to be in the front of the line versus the last. I shouldn't get preferential treatment for getting that last delegate slot. So what we'll do is we'll just draw lots and do that. And we'll do that transparently. If anybody wants to watch anything that we're doing, you're welcome to. I will tell you at the reorg meeting on the 1st, we are inviting and hopefully we'll live stream one. Maybe we'll live stream the one that we're doing over at Mitchell Road Elementary. But we've got friends coming from Anderson and Pickens and Spartanburg that will come and either just watch a reorg meeting so they feel more confident and comfortable with how it operates for when they do theirs later in March, or they can, if they're trained and they know stuff, they can help answer questions and handhold folks and go through that process. The more people that know how this process works, and I know it seems intimidating. It was intimidating for me in 2017 when I went to the first one of these and I was, voted for who I was told to vote for. I would do everything completely different if I knew what in 2017, if I knew what I knew today. But I didn't know. But we want to teach people before the meetings. If you haven't learned enough, come and watch one. There's a lot of people that have never been to one. We have never handled a precinct reorg. Remember, all of us were elected in 2021. The state party, violation of state law, took over our county convention in 2023. So we've never done it, and this is our first time doing it, and it's been a whole lot of fun and watching people do this. So I see Greg Peck has his hand raised. Yes, sir.
Okay, you can sign up to be a delegate to the conventions up until 5 days before the convention.
Okay.
By rule.
Okay, that's what I meant. So we will sign up that third spot. I did not attend my initial precinct meeting or my makeup meeting. We can do those and sign up as many people as want to come up here and sign up, and we will do that fairly. But we will do that up to 5 days before the convention. So anywhere from March 9th to, I guess it'll be April 9th, because that'll be 5 days before the county convention on the 14th. You can come up here and sign up. Now, what happened in the past is, you have to set a meeting with the chairman. So Nate Loeb has to take your phone call, and that never happened. So, obviously, but unless he knew you were voting for him, and then he'd take your call and sign you up. So what we're going to do is very fair and open and transparent, and you can come up and sign up at the headquarters. And I think that'll be the process. Obviously, the chair, Yvonne Julian, as the chair, will have to sign off on those Form 1s, but that's the process. Miss Linda?
Yes, a couple questions. If I wanted to run for the state delegate, and I check that box right there, do I have to bring proof that I voted in the primaries? Do I need proof that day when I turn this form in, or is that something I submit later?
You don't need proof right away, but it's just like running for EC. If you're interested in being a state delegate, or you're interested in being an EC, go to SC Votes. We send out an email with this.
Well, I would, wait, stop. This would be in different states. This would have been previous residences.
Yes.
If you want to go ahead and pull your information, you don't need to do it at the precinct reorg meeting, but I will tell you, before we go into the county convention, we will put together a slate for everyone that wants to be on the state delegate slate. Now we can have 90 people. We got 90 delegates to the state. We want as many people as possible to come, but realize it's not a popularity contest being a state delegate. It's a responsibility. The responsibility is, number one, you have to have voted in 2 out of 3. So we will have to check physically, and we will check everybody's record. So we will check yours. Now you were previously out of state. We had to have people pull their California records, and I don't know what state you're from, but if you go ahead and show us your information from your prior state, we'll tell you whether you're qualified and all that type of stuff. But on that slate that we're going to come up with, it'll be 90 names or 180, because what there is in the rules, we can split votes. So instead of having one vote, if I'm a state delegate, I'll have one vote. I can actually have just a half a vote, and then Linda, you can have half a vote, and then both of us get a go. So if we've got enough people that are interested in it, we will go to 180 delegates and take down a whole 10 buses, 5 buses versus 3 buses to Columbia. But realize, being a state delegate is not a popularity contest. That's the way it used to be. When the first time I participated, it was in 2017. Nobody knew me. I just moved here, whatever. I was threw my name in to be a state delegate. I was elected as an alternate, but I was way down the list. But when I went down to the state convention in Columbia, I think Greenville actually at that time had maybe 73 or 75 delegates. I think we showed up 55 people, and I got moved up. So I actually got to vote, and we still didn't have all of our delegates there. If we have what we're doing in showing to be a state delegate, the responsibility of that is you have to be confirmed that you are going to come down there on May 5th, that if they call back a convention, another convention like they did 2 years ago, or back in 2022, you will show up come hell or high water, unless you're in the hospital or your spouse or your parents or your child's in the hospital, you are coming to the convention. The state party will charge fees. It will be 50 or 75 bucks, probably 50 bucks or so in there. You have to realize we just want to vet all of the people that are going to be on our slate. So just realize that that's all we're going to ask. But if you want to come, we want more people to come, and we'll go up to the 180 folks. So
Okay, well, I have another question, because you mentioned that you hoped that it would be the MAGA people that show up at the precinct and not the Nikki Haley people. And I'm relatively new to the area, so this will be the first time. I don't even know who's running in my precinct. And it sounds like the election's almost a done deal. If you're getting a slate of people and you're just gonna vote on the slate. And I'm wondering, maybe I shouldn't vote because I don't know who these people are. And I would hate to vote for a Nikki Haley type.
You're our kind of type. So find out. And I don't know if you've talked to anybody from your precinct or been introduced. I mean, I hate that. What precinct are you in?
Furman.
Oh, you're in the Furman precinct. Okay. And I know Jason Forrester. Yeah. So I mean, let's get you with the people in the Furman precinct, and and hopefully let you talk. That's why we want to have it all everybody knows everybody. I hate to say it's a done deal. You may go to the Furman and there may not be any slate. People may not have been organized. We're encouraging it because and I will give you the example in 2021 when we did this, and that's when we voted out all the establishment folks. My mother came to Precinct ReOrg, and she lives in the Botany Woods precinct across the street from me. My mother came and voted for the wrong person because she didn't know, because we didn't use a piece of paper slate, or at least they didn't in Botany Woods at that time period. So she voted for somebody who then came to convention and voted against me, right? So that's okay.
See, I want to avoid that.
Yeah, that's why we have the slate. All we need to do is connect you with the people in the Furman precinct, find out what their slate is. And I don't know the details of it, but if you call up, text Olga or call up to headquarters, they'll help you with that, and we'll get you lined up. But you see the value of why we do the slate. We're not trying to well, I mean, in some senses we are. We're trying, I mean, we want to be a MAGA America First party, and we number one. And number two, we want people that want to be involved. We don't want people like it's your EC in the Furman precinct. She's run for EC the past 2 times, and I think she's probably been it forever. And she's calling around now, so I assume she may want to do it again, but she never comes to our meetings. So why on God's green earth do you want to continue to have your title of EC and then you don't want to actually do anything? Now, I don't know if that lady is particularly a MAGA America First person. I don't think she is if she's not participating with us. I find it always interesting the people that claim they're big Trump supporters, but they battle and fight the Trump supporting MAGA America First biggest GOP in the state. And but that's just what they do. There's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of people claim they're Trump people, but they're really not. So. But contact us and we'll hook you up with the right people up there. But
Okay, great. Thank you.
And send us, if you've got your voting record from the other places, we can verify it and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, I don't have it now. I would have to get it.
Yeah, do get it, and I would encourage you to go ahead and get it now, because I mean, go ahead and get that process going, because we had people literally FedExing, having California voter registration people FedEx their voting record here. So hopefully you're from a state that they have it online. Maybe it's a little bit more difficult, but see what you can get it to us, and then we'll help tell you if you qualify.
Okay, great. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you. Yes. So we have one question here. Okay. like we just said, if you can sign up 2 times. You can sign up at the reorg meeting. That's Susie's question. What's the time period of coming up to headquarters and sign up? So you can sign up at the reorg meeting. You can sign up the makeup meeting. So that's the 1st and the 8th. Then you can sign up anywhere from the 9th Sunday, but whenever that the office is open on the 10th, all the way through, as Greg Peck said, up to 5 days before the convention. So anywhere from March 9th to April 9th, we can sign people up. And we are going to actively look to sign people up. We're going to try to find more people. I would love to see us have a convention of 3,000 people. And I would love to see us have 2,332 delegates. It would be exciting. I mean, that's that. So we are encouraging it. Now, obviously, we're encouraging MAGA America First people, and that's who we're looking for. So as we go through this, if we still have, open slots, and there's 10 open slots in my precinct, the people in my precinct or people here at headquarters are going to start calling up and trying to find Trump people out of my precinct and say, hey, do you want to come to the convention? So that's what we're doing. We as a party have to be fair, and fair in the sense that we treat everybody fairly. That's why we want the process to be fair. That's why I'm telling them, hey, you can sign up. If the Nikki people want to come sign up in masses, knock yourself out. Come up here and sign up. But what we are doing, you as an EC, or you as somebody who wants to be a state delegate, we're looking, this is election time. It is not your responsibility to go sit there. We got to treat everybody fair from a party perspective. But I'm involved in the election piece. I have a separate hat where I'm actually running to be a delegate or running to do whatever. And I'm looking for MAGA America First people that are going to support us and help push what I think the party, and actually what I think the people in the executive committee and the vast majority of people here in Greenville County want us to do. Now we can measure that by looking at, Trump won the primary, it was 60-40. So 60-40, and I don't know the exact numbers for Greenville County, 60% of Greenville County Republicans are for Trump. So we need to push what they want us to do. I don't need, and I'm a Trump person, always have been, always will be. So we're pushing for that. So, we need to be fair to everybody, but I mean, I don't need to call up, my biggest opponent and say, oh, let me give you a ride to the convention. So, oh no, it's a rules person asking a question. This could be dangerous. Elizabeth? Oh, there she is. You're muted, and maybe you should stay muted. You probably have a hard question. Hold on. Can't hear you yet. Try that. Yeah, it says you're unmuted, but we still can't hear you. I'm sorry. If you type it into the chat, Olga will read it for us. And I promise I'm not muting you on purpose. I don't think you think I am.
Yes.
I don't think that was her. Just type it in the chat and we'll have Olga read it out. And I assume you're probably correcting something I said wrong, which is good. Oh, okay. Shaking your head no. And when we see good Nikki with 1K, and is that Fuzz Nugget? Okay. Olga told me. We need to get tiny little MAGA Make America Great hats for the cats. Well, Elizabeth is going to type in her question. I know her precinct is organizing at the Greenville Country Club, and she's been kind enough to let she's got the fancy digs. So not Mitchell Road Elementary. Jeannie, do you have a question?
No.
Okay, fantastic. Jeannie is going to be with us at Mitchell Road. We're trying to help her with our neighbor. If they do not, Harry, great question. Again, you do not have to pay any fee if you're just coming to precinct reorg and voting for you or whomever in leadership. So they will have to fill out a Form 1, but they don't have to pay any fee. So if my next door neighbor wants, I need my next door neighbor to come, and they know they're going to be out of town for the county convention, then but there's no point in them paying. So they can come, vote for me or you or whoever they're voting for, pay no fee, just fill out the Form 1 and then go on their merry way. So if you know that you are not going to be available on April 14th, there's no point of coming and paying a fee. There's a point of being a member, and we would encourage you to sign up as a member for the Greenville GOP, but you do not have to pay the $20 to come to the convention, and you do not have to be a member. So that's the way the rules are. So bring all your friends and say, I'll buy you a burger later and just vote for me. You don't have to pay a dime. What about leaders? Don't we? Okay. There will be obviously some uh, uh, areas like what Mike Voden is doing down there at that Windy Hill wedding venue. I think they've got their whole zone or 2 zones down there. Mike and whoever's leading that particular zone, you're responsible for the location, getting everything ready. Bring some donuts and coffee, whatever you want to do. Set some balloons. Make sure you've got some stuff out there that people know what door to enter. If you're a zone leader, you're leading. Daniel, you're going to be responsible. Make sure everybody knows where to go and which door to come through, and let us know. We'll communicate that out too. But you're kind of responsible for that, responsible for cleanup, all that kind of stuff. Have a registration table. Kind of think about this as you're running your own little, mini or a little bit more than mini convention, and be a leader. This is why we broke down into zones. It's difficult to manage 151 precincts, or I think we got 100, and I think we're shy about 8 or 9, but it's hard to manage those and keep all those going. But this is where we develop leaders, by having these zones, so you can start with just your precinct, and then you're working with 12 precincts, and then hopefully one day you'll be working with 151 when I can get out of here. So oh, okay. Yeah, Elizabeth was trying to encourage Linda, out of the new guest from the Furman precinct, to stay involved, come to our meetings. Linda, I don't know if you've been up to the headquarters, but we'd love to host you here, introduce you to folks, and really grow. Because a lot of what we want to do is really get further and granular and growth, and really get active in the party. I don't know if everybody saw the email that we sent out from mySCGOP today, and we put in the Signal chat and put it out there. But shows what the handout was that we did for our precinct. We have there's just a clear plastic bag that has a doorknob hole in it. We put the newspaper that we got, Yvonne's idea, this fantastic Greenville County Republican Party reorg register with information. We put that in there. We put a letter that we wrote to the precinct about what we have been doing and what we still need to do in the precinct and in the county and in the state. And then we put a little trinket, little Trump $100 bill, kind of neat little thing. And then our precinct president and some other people were handing those out and taking them out. Hopefully they're doing some more today. So, but we really want to, think about what we want to do. And if what we want to do is increase, really strengthen the party by growing, we need more numbers. Because we got a saying that it's on the wall here at headquarters. It says, you have to be politically feared to be politically respected. I cannot get a response from Lindsey Graham's office. I've been working on Lindsey Graham's office, trying to ask a question and talk to. I've only been in leadership for 4 years. Never talked to anyone that's in a decision-making process in Lindsey Graham's office. Lindsey Graham's coming up for election in 2 years. He obviously does not politically fear us, because he is ignoring us. Who is he listening to? If he's not listening to the largest GOP in the county, in the state, and we represent 12 or 13% or whatever percent of the population, and probably a bigger percentage of the Republicans in the state, who the heck is Lindsey Graham listening to? That's why we're asking the questions. I literally sent an email to found out who his chief of staff is today, but I've been following up with this information and asking Lindsey Graham the test question, the litmus test question. I've been asking it since we saw him and his people at the RNC up in Milwaukee. You know, Lindsey Graham was nice, hosted a little party, cookie, a donut. What was it? No, it was cookies and milk. In my phone, do you have a PowerPoint? So it was cookies and milk. Obviously, the milk was represented by alcohol. You know, so it was nice of him to spend, I don't know, what he spent, 5 or 10 grand on that little party there at the hotel. But I can't get an answer on issues. What do we care about? I don't care about a party, and I don't care about a free drink or a free meal or that. I care about issues that are going on in DC. And we are not getting answers from Lindsey Graham. And if we're not getting answers from Lindsey Graham, who is getting answers? Who is he talking to? I can't imagine that he's not talking to you know, the leadership or the people out of the biggest GOP in the state. But you know, I want to test Lindsey Graham, ask him all these ask his people these questions to see if they will work with us and be cooperative, because and I am testing it from 15 different directions, because guess what, when Lindsey Graham comes back, we come out hard against Lindsey Graham, and he comes back and says, oh, why are you mad at me? I'm here to help you. I'm going to say, well, let me tell you what, I've reached out to you for 8 months. I reached out to your chief of staff. I reached out to this person and that person, and people in the campaign, people at your Senate office. And guess what? I never got an answer. And guess what? I told many of those people, as I told his regional field director the other day via text, this is a litmus test question, and I want the answer today. I said, I've been trying for 7 months to get it, and I didn't get an answer. So that no answer is an answer. So I found out who his chief of staff was today, and I said, well, guess what? I'll send him an email, because I don't want his chief of staff saying, oh, if I'd only known you were trying to reach us, Jeff, I would have called you back. No, they're not calling us back. And we all know what the game is. And that's really what we've been doing. You know, some of these other issues are there, and we need to fight them. But guess what? The real issue is we need to get our people to learn what the game is, so we can sit there and fight back on the game. So we're not sitting there being reactionary to everything, being manipulated by people, by politicians and all this stuff. So we are going to get very active, and I got a feeling we are going to go very hard after Lindsey Graham, because I have put so much effort into testing him and seeing if we can get an answer. And for God's sakes, I can't get an answer on a simple question. So it's going to be fun. So, okay, it's 8:21. Any more questions? Hands up. We're all good. There. Okay, as Olga's saying, we're here at the headquarters every day. There's a lot of activity today. If you haven't picked up your packet, come up and get it, or make sure your president or EC has come up here and got picked it up, or designate somebody to pick it up. And it's going to be a fun time. We are going first in the state. The rest of our America First people and friends around the state wanted Greenville to set the tone. I would love to have an extra 2 or 3 weeks to relax and catch up, because there's a whole lot of stuff we could do that we haven't done. But guess what? If we were waiting 2 or 3 weeks later, there'd be the same amount of stuff we hadn't gotten done. So let's go ahead and knock it out. Let's set the tone for the state. And I think a lot of people are excited about what we're doing, and let's help teach, once we get past March 1st and do the little things that we still need to do for Greenville after we get past March 1st, we're going to help other counties, other MAGA America First counties, and get people out. We've got the ability to call bank and text and whatever we need to do to help out these little counties, and let MAGA America First people know that your reorg in Allendale is on XYZ date, and will you come out and support Trump? So, that's what we're doing. So, if there's no more questions, we'll go ahead and go. I know a lot of people like me will sit here and talk for hours, or just sit here and look at each other. That's it. But And I see a lot of highly trained people on here. Harry, Nikki, you guys are trained, so you're going to do great. Go out there and find more people. Be the leaders that we all know you are, and focus on finding some MAGA America First people. Because I tell you, I cannot be more excited about the next 2 years. I think it's going to be great. I don't know. People ask. I don't know where we're going to fall out on the statewide stuff. I mean, we could end up, winning and taking it all, from the leadership of the SCGOP to winning, the 50% plus one of the state executive committee, or we could lose everything. I don't know. We will find out later. We're focused on reorg and getting, helping turn out as many people to their precinct reorg. And even if we lose everything, I'm going to tell you, it's going to be an exciting next 2 years. Greenville, the upstate, is going to be a hardened bunker of America First conservatism up here, and we are going to use this and our other partners that do win all across the state. We are going to get very busy over the next 2 years. So I cannot be more excited. And I'm trying to think, there was 3 points. We want to make Greenville a hardened bunker and kind of the jewel of what we're doing from a MAGA America First perspective. We want to focus on candidates, which is for the June 2026 primary. What's our third issue? The legislative issues that we want to work on. So obviously, I think we got to win candidates before we get anything done on the legislative side. And there's a lot of people in our statewide groups that believe that too. And the best way to get better candidates is to win back the parties. So that's what we're doing. All right. We'll go ahead and cut loose, but thank you all for doing everything. Thank you, Mr. Lawrence, for what you're doing. And thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Nikki. Good Nikki, with 1 K, not 2 like Nikki Haley.
Jeff,
Yes, ma'am. Oh, is that
was
true?
Miss Jeannie.
Yes,
I just
Jeannie.
wanted you to know that Lindsey Graham is diligently working against Trump. He's too busy trying to keep the war going to think about South Carolina.
That will be our arguing point, because I literally watched him at that Munich security conference or whatever, and I'm like, this what he's giving us is gold to use against him. He cares more about what's going on in Ukraine than he cares about South Carolina and South Carolina kids and all the stuff, even American kids. So that's a problem. It's a problem. So, but that's what we're asking them, and we can't get an answer.
Doing right now.
I know. Trust me, I know. It's great. But guess what, Jeannie? We got to get the evidence against him. I do not want him sitting there coming back. Oh, Jeff, if I'd only known you're trying to get in touch with me. I'm like, I have tried every which way from Sunday. And if I can't get in touch with him, what is a regular human being, that's not even related to the party? What chance do they have? I mean, obviously I'm not as important as Vladimir Lazinski or
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I can just hear him when he ran for president. He said, I know my people. Well, he obviously doesn't.
Some of his people were up at January 6th, and I think he said he wanted to shoot us in the head. So.
Oh, yeah, he did. But, then after he said he knew his people and he got 1% of the votes, then we got to boo him when he came to South Carolina.
I think he knows who we are, and I think that's why he's not returning the call, and I think he's giving us all the evidence we need to go back. So
well,
we're going to go.
Jeff.
Thank you. We appreciate everything.
I have questions, but I'll call you.
Okay.
I'll come by.
Fantastic. Thank you all.
Bye.
See you.
First.
Hold on. I'm still in those.
I'm trying to hang up.
Take the battery out, Gene. Hold on. Take the battery out.
I finally figured out how to talk, so there you go. It's too late.
Oh, there we go. So we
Sorry,
weren't keeping you out on purpose.
Hear your microphone on my device because my microphone never picks up. So
Mine does that. Sometimes I just have to reverse. It's a pain. But we're all good. But yeah, if you want us to set you up with Linda, we're more than happy to if you'd like to meet her.
Well, I can. I'm not in the Furman precinct, so it's probably more worthwhile for her to meet someone in the Furman precinct. I just wanted to encourage her that, you know, a lot of us first came in as unknowns to our precinct, and so they don't really usually elect an unknown. But if they get to know you and you show up at all the meetings, then they'll elect you next time. So
yeah, and I think we'll have some new people at this reorg meeting, so that will be elected. So you know, and I think she's probably good. So if she's new here and she's willing to say on a Zoom call that she doesn't want to vote for Nikki Haley people, but
she doesn't know who Nikki Haley is.
well,
I don't know, Jeff. What do you thinkers?
I think she knew who Nikki Haley was. She just didn't want to vote for her. So you may have liked Nikki Haley. Maybe I did mute you on purpose. I'm kidding.
No.
You don't
I
have- I'm
remember
just
Nikki
teasing
Haley.
you.
I remember Nikki Haley well. She talked about the first candidate I worked for and how
Yeah.
wonderful he was. And 2 weeks later, she got on the same radio station and dogged him. And I thought, you were bought and paid for.
That, you know what? The more I learn about this business and what's going on behind the scenes, the dirtier it is, and you can. But what you learned in that lesson, we're trying to teach people. Maybe we ought to teach people that lesson too, because maybe we ought to document it and let people know, because it's, you know, most good people are used and taken advantage of because you trust
Right.
people, and you can't trust these folks. Can't trust any of them. Trust nobody. Don't trust me. Don't trust you. Check everybody. So it's the safest route, right? So hate to be
Makes for a
that
rough
way.
life. It's the only way to do politics.
Yeah, I know. So all right, we're gonna cut off here, but
Have a good
thanks
night.
for all your help. Y'all have a good
You're
night.
welcome. Okay.